welcome to another edition of Currently in Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano. Today we will learn about the Triad Theater Company at the Curtain Call Theater in Braintree. First, though, we take a look at the weather and the news for you. Currently in Quincy, it's pretty nice out there. Sunshine, 66 degrees right now. Today will turn out partly sunny. The high around 70. Not too bad for the last day of September. Temperatures this evening will dip down to the upper 50s. A mostly dry week ahead. More clouds around for tomorrow, but still dry with highs in the mid-60s. Sunshine starts to peek through again on Wednesday with a high in the mid-60s. Thursday looks gorgeous. Lots of sunshine, mild temperatures into the low 70s. Really, the next chance for rain is not until Saturday. So again, partly sunny, 66 in Quincy right now. Checking out the news for you today, the Braintree branch of the MBTA's Red Line is back in service today after a 24-day shutdown that began back on September 6th. Workers have spent the past 3 weeks updating 18 miles of track designed to eliminate over 20 speed restrictions and cut the round-trip travel time on that line by 27 minutes. MBTA's Chief Operating Officer Ryan Caholen says it was a monumental project.
The MBTA is actively hiring in all types of roles. If anyone is interested, I urge you to go to the website. Not just a shameless plug, but it's a great place to work. But, you know, so we've a lot of our construction folks, we've refocused on the track improvement program because they know the nuts and the bolts of it, right? They understand the tolerances and what we need to safely and reliably operate the service. So, you know, they've worked exclusively on the track improvement program since it began at the end of last year, and they'll continue to stay focused on that mission right through the end of 2024. You know, speaking of timelines and deadlines, General Manager Eng, you know, made a commitment that we were going to have the entire system free of speed restrictions by the end of 2024, and we're on track to do that.
In addition to the track work, Caholen says stations were also given a thorough cleaning, and he says new Red Line cars will continue to be added to the fleet as they become available. Quincy City Clerk's office preparing for the upcoming November 5th presidential election. Early voting will begin on October 19th and run through November 1st. Early voting will take place at Central Middle School on October 19th and 20th, and then at City Hall through November 1st. Mail-in ballots must be requested by October 29th. The City Clerk, Nicole Crispo, says voters should feel confident that their mail-in ballot will be handled properly.
You know, the things that people are hearing on the news, I want to say don't happen in Quincy because we have such a good relationship with our post office here in Quincy, and we work really hard to ensure that we're getting the latest and greatest out to people and get our information in. They're working to get it to us. We're working to get it back out to them, and the same on the other side. So please don't have any fears about, you know, the post office. Like I said, we talk to them daily to make sure that we're not leaving any mail sitting over there. We're not leaving any mail sitting here. So that's important for everyone to know.
Last day to register to vote in the November 5th election is October 26th. In-person voting will take place on November 5th from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Crispo is predicting a turnout of between 72 and 78% here in Quincy. Proposal for a new apartment complex in North Quincy is one step closer to approval. The Zoning Board of Appeals last week voted unanimously in favor of the plans for an 8-story, 139-unit building on Hancock Street at the current site of Domino's Pizza and an electrical supply company. Tremont Quincy LLC is proposing this new development. It'll have 134 parking spaces within the new building. The proposal was downsized from the initial plans for a 16-story, 240-unit building. Some residents did raise concerns about traffic and flooding in that area, but the zoning board said those issues would be addressed by the planning board, which has yet to vote on the project. The Norfolk County Sheriff's Office Are You OK program being credited with saving an 80-year-old woman in Canton last week. A sheriff's officer, Cheryl Bambry, contacted authorities when the woman failed to answer the well-being call 3 times. But on the 4th try, the woman explained that she had fallen down some stairs. First responders took the woman to the hospital for treatment. The Are You OK program was founded back in 2002. It offers free well-being calls to Norfolk County residents who sign up. Sheriff Pat McDermott says the program currently has over 100 participants, but can accommodate many more. You can call 1-866-900-7865 to sign up. McDermott estimates that the program has helped over 4,000 residents since it started. Interfaith Social Services in Quincy says that its food rescue program saved almost 475,000 pounds of food from going to waste just in the past year. Interfaith sends a refrigerated box truck to grocery stores, restaurants, and retail stores 5 days a week to collect food that's still perfectly fine to eat, but that stores can no longer sell. Volunteers in Interfaith's food pantry then sort and stock the food to ensure its freshness and meets quality standards. The food's then available for needy families all across the South Shore. Interfaith partners up with the food rescue group called Spoonfuls for weekly deliveries of perishable foods. Since 2009, Interfaith says it's rescued more than 5 million pounds of food from local restaurants, retailers, and grocery stores. It's our check of news for you today. Coming up, we learn all about the Curtain Call Theater in Braintree. That's next. Welcome back. The Curtain Call Theater Company is located on Commercial Street in Braintree. The Triad Theater is the in-house production company, and Jim Gross is the technical director for Curtain Call, and he's here with us to give us a little history lesson and tell us what's coming up for the rest of the year. Nice to meet you, Jim.
Nice to meet you as well. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. I have heard of the theater. I've seen the little white building there, you know, on Commercial Street.
Yep.
But I always wonder what went on behind the walls there, and now you're going to tell us.
Yes.
What's the history of Curtain Call Theater?
So it's been around 62 years.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, just a little bit. It is. So it started as a community theater to, put on local productions and entertainment in that regard. It started, or I would say the space that we're in now, started as a clubhouse in somewhere around 1980, 1981, and the group would rent space at Thayer Academy for their performances.
Okay.
And so where we are now was always referred to as the clubhouse.
Okay.
And somewhere in the 1990s, they realized that we could perform out of that space and save the money that we were putting into renting space.
Sure.
And so since the 90s, this has been our home, and my wife and I became involved around 2004. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So what is your background in theater, and how did you come to Braintree?
Okay, well, interestingly, I don't have an official training in theater, but my wife does.
Okay.
I'm an artist, and she saw that potential for being useful in the theater. So when the two of us started teaming up on smaller productions that she was doing, she was teaching in elementary schools, and so I started building her sets. And once we got involved with Curtain Call, it was a perfect fit for me in terms of being able to build sets and design things and graphics and all of the stuff that we do to promote the shows.
Okay, how did you learn about Curtain Call? How did that happen?
A friend of ours was in a production somewhere around 2003-ish.
Yeah.
So we went there to see that production, and then they had auditions the following season. My wife auditioned, got cast.
Okay.
And when it was time for the production, they didn't have anybody to run the lights. Somebody had designed them, but they needed somebody to run them. So I hopped on board
Stepped
and
right in.
never left.
Yeah.
So
Is that kind of the story of community theater in general? It's literally what it says. It's people in the community.
Yeah. There's an absolute ton of talented people that are involved, but it's volunteer, and it's people with training, I've got no training, but I go on
Right.
stage too.
Right.
And you're finding the parts and making them all work. So.
It's a passion, right? It's
Oh,
it's
100%.
for the love of it.
Yeah, and I kind of relate it to a sports team as well, because it's not just about the stars of the show. The
Yeah.
whole team has to operate well to make the production, come across and
Absolutely.
hit those emotional moments that you need. It's
Yeah.
not just one or two talented people. It's the whole team working
Right.
together.
So, just explain the relationship between Triad Theater and Curtain Call Theater.
Yes. Yep. So Triad Theater Company was started by my wife a few years ago. Her intent there was to be a little more family focused in the shows and the events that she's producing. We're both members at Curtain Call. She is the artistic director
Okay.
for Curtain Call. So we're bringing in these Triad events that are in residence, and then we're also producing in all aspects of the Curtain Call shows, and it's a nice way to get more of a variety of entertainment for our subscribers
Okay.
and the community in general.
So, is it active throughout the year? Is there something going on almost all year long?
Yeah, typically the summer there's less live events,
Yeah.
but we still might be rehearsing. So, for instance, we did Romeo and Juliet. We did 6 performances that just ended yesterday, but we started rehearsing that in July.
I see, okay.
So we were in the space, but the performances didn't happen until September.
I see.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Talk about the performers, if you could, Jim, and the cast.
Oh,
and
sure.
Where you find your talents.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we start with an audition process,
Okay.
and that happens usually 3 months before the performance, sometimes a little tighter, sometimes a little further out, but 3 months is a good target. Everybody comes out, they might have a specific role that they want, they might just be interested in being in the show, and they get up on stage and give them some lines of the show to read,
Yeah.
and the show gets picked that way.
So, but how do you? I mean, is there a casting call? Is there like a network of?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. We put out a general casting call either on Facebook, social
I see.
media,
Okay.
things
Of
like that.
Of course.
Yeah, and there's a few online resources that.
This is what I was wondering. Okay.
Yeah, specifically for folks who are interested in auditioning for shows, so that they
Gotcha.
can go out and they can find what theaters in the area are having auditions, and they come down.
Right, and the cast, they're typically, this is a passion for them too, right? They're not
Absolutely.
professional, if you will,
Right.
actors.
Right. Certainly, there's people that have been trained professionally,
Right,
and
yeah.
whatever circumstances, they're not doing it professionally. They've got that ability.
The bug, right? They
Oh,
have,
yeah.
They have the
Yeah.
bug and the
Yeah.
talents and the desire to entertain. But they may be, I don't know, physicists or mathematicians.
Well, funny
or-
that you mentioned
Yeah.
physicists,
Yeah.
because the Romeo and Juliet production that we just did, Juliet, is a scientist.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's right now. So, yeah.
You would never think art and science, right, in the same
Exactly.
same person.
It
but
is
yeah.
funny, though,
Yeah.
the number of lawyers and teachers.
Isn't that interesting?
And I guess they're already used to standing up in front of
Well, that's
people.
true.
But
Yeah.
it is the number of people from those professions that end up being on
Find
stage
their-
for us.
Well,
Yeah.
isn't it said that theater like should be bigger than you are, or something like that?
Yes. Yes.
Do you find that true personally?
Well, you certainly get to play or be somebody that maybe is nothing like
Yeah.
what you're like.
Right,
And
yeah.
I enjoy that part of it when I'm actually on stage. Yeah.
Right, exactly, yeah. For folks in the community who would like to get involved with Curtain Call Theater, is there a way for them to do that?
Yeah, our website has information
Oh, okay.
with an email address or a phone number that they can call to just let us know that they're interested.
Yes.
The email is tickets@curtaincallbraintree.org. I'm actually the one that
Oh.
answers those emails.
Okay.
And our phone number, 781-356.
Something.
So, yeah,
It's on the
losing it
website.
at the moment. But yeah, it's all on the website.
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, there's a gentleman that's a part of your crew here that is a volunteer, and that's exactly what he did.
Chief
So-
Fred Shepard, yes. Yeah,
Yep.
we thank him for bringing us together actually today
Yes,
to
yeah.
introduce you to the community, so we're happy to do that. Do you actually own the building that you're in?
No. So the building is owned by the Puritan Bridge Club. They've been in existence over 100 years.
Wow.
Thriving. Games, I think, if it's not every day of the week,
Yeah.
it's definitely not Sundays, but there's definitely games, I think, Monday through Saturday. And they're a wonderful.
Like the card game.
The
Bridge,
card
Jackie.
game Bridge,
Okay.
yes. Yeah, and they're a great landlord. So they own the whole building.
Yeah.
Their space is half of the building. We
Yep.
have the other half.
I see.
And they allow us to use their space during our performances, kind of like a green room for our actors, have a space to,
Yeah.
you know,
Just
lay
get
out
ready.
their costumes and get ready to go on
Yeah.
stage.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some coming up stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot happening actually.
There is,
in
yes.
the fall and right through the holidays, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So
This Saturday.
This Saturday we have a paint night, and exactly what you think about. We're going to do a Halloween themed painting. Anybody that comes in will. Yep, there's the graphic for it. So
Yeah.
anybody that is interested in that, there is a limit of 18 people.
Okay.
We did have an event in December that did sell out. So. But information of that's on the website. Coming up October 19th, we have 4 female comedians, and that should be a great event. We've got a partnership with
The whole shebang.
the whole shebang, yes. So we've got a partnership with a media entertainment company, and so through that partnership, we've been able to book a bunch of comedians.
Okay.
And so they're part of that program.
Yep.
And then in November is Curtain Call Theater's first production of their official season,
Really?
which is The Complete Works of William Shakespeare Abridged.
Okay.
And it's a very accessible way to see Shakespeare. It's really, it's basically a parody, but they kind of make fun of Shakespeare, and it's a treat. I'd really encourage people
Yeah.
to come out and see that one.
Oh, so this is kicking off your new season.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So the curtain call structure is typically to do 3 shows a year.
Yes.
A play, a musical, or I'm sorry, a comedy, a drama, and then a musical.
Okay.
And the 4th production that we've been adding has been the Triad Theater production, which is what Romeo and Juliet was.
I see. Okay.
So the first event in the curtain call season is The Complete Works.
Complete Works.
Yes. Yep.
Abridged.
Yeah, and we've actually
Highly
got
abridged.
Yeah, we've got an entire Shakespeare season.
Oh, really?
Shakespeare-themed season. So Romeo and Juliet,
Yeah.
The Complete Works of William Shakespeare Abridged, then Something Rotten, which is a musical that is based in Shakespeare's times, and there's 2 brothers who are writers, and they're kind of stealing from Shakespeare.
Okay.
But it's a send-up, and at the same time, an homage to musical theater.
Yeah.
It's a really fun show.
Okay.
And then the final production we're doing is called The Book of Will, and it is based on truth.
Yep.
In that after Will Shakespeare died, his friends got together and they wanted to put together the full folio of his work.
Okay.
But it didn't really exist. When he wrote for each play, and sides were in actors' hands or stage managers' hands, but nobody ever had the full script.
Interesting.
And so this is a fictitious retelling of putting that together, but based on that real scenario.
Okay. All right.
Another wonderful show. So,
Yeah. Sounds like fun.
yeah. Also accessible way to experience Shakespeare. I think Shakespeare is intimidating in general.
Well, going back to my high school days, I remember
Right.
trying to get through them, you know. And there's a performance in December also, I believe.
Yes.
Musical
Oh,
performance.
yes, thank you. So Ayla Brown, she's a country music star.
Yeah.
She had some fame with the American Idol at a
I
time.
thought I recognized that.
Yep, and she was on the country station for the last few years. She's no
Okay.
longer there. I think it's 102.5 was where she worked for the last few years. But yeah, she's coming back. She did a show for us a few years ago.
Yeah.
And she's doing a Christmas-themed
Oh, very
show in December, 2 nights, December 13th and 14th.
good. Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about the kind of the governmental structure of Curtain Call
Absolutely,
Theater?
yeah.
Jim? I'm
Yep.
assuming there's a board and.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. So Curtain Call is a nonprofit
Yes.
organization. There is a president, vice president, and secretary. Those are kind of the mandated positions that the state requires. So,
Yes, right.
And then I'm a member at large, so I'm also on the board. And it's my wife, Tony Ruscio. She is the artistic director, and so
Okay.
she plans the season and hires the directors and the designers that work on each
Sure.
show and things like that. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Are there positions on the board, or is it a full board right now?
Are there positions available?
Yes.
Well, certainly members at large could be we're always looking for people who have a passion for theater that would like to be involved. So yes, absolutely.
Do you find young people are interested in community theater?
They're definitely interested. They're less interested in being behind the scenes on the board of directors and doing those things. They love to act, and they're kind of following the shows that interest them, and so they're at one theater to the next. And we've got a few, fortunately, that are, family, if you will, that generally stick with us and do that. But young people, yes, they're involved. They're just not less on the board and behind the scenes type stuff. So.
All right. Well, you need, as you mentioned before, it's a team effort, right?
Right.
So,
right. Yep.
Everybody contributes at their own.
For sure.
Their own talents. Yeah. Do you work with the schools at all, Jim?
This is an effort that we're doing. We've got a connection in the Quincy Public Schools right now.
Okay.
And so we're working to get something for Shakespeare Abridged, or the Complete Works Abridged, that would allow the students to come see the show.
Yes.
And that would be with a sponsor that would be paying for their tickets. So that's something that's in the works right now.
Okay.
And we're hoping that we can grow that. So.
Yeah, I know there's active drama clubs here in Quincy.
Yeah. One of our members who's been in a couple of our shows is a teacher in the schools, and he runs a drama club out of his school. And so he's working with us to try to get this happening for Shakespeare Abridged.
Yes,
so that's our hope. Yeah.
Do you work with other community theater groups across the region?
Yeah.
You do?
Yep. There's one in Milton Players. There's Duxbury, Norwell, Walpole. We're all, we all know each other. We borrow props. We borrow set pieces, actors, and we all act on the stages. It's definitely a community thing.
Yes.
Beyond just our community theater.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Yep.
Any original productions ever? Do you have playwrights on the South Shore?
Yep, we've done that. So I think it was 2 seasons ago, we had, or actually going back a couple of seasons, we did a night of baseball-themed plays. So it was a night of all short plays, and one of the plays was written by a local guy. So after we did that, he said, hey, I've written a few others. So last summer, we did a night of all of his original plays. That was a really nice theme. Michael Solomowitz is his name.
I was going to ask you his name.
Yeah, nice. That was a good night. And it's this, for a community theater to put on shows, you need audience to pay your bills.
Absolutely,
so known shows are
more
going to get people in the door.
Yeah.
So it's finding the right time and the right theme to work in a show like that.
Yeah.
That isn't as well known, but we do it when we can, for sure.
Well, it's a baseball town for sure.
Yeah.
So that one was almost a guarantee.
Yeah, it was Bill. He had written a play about Bill Buckner. And it was wonderful.
Okay. Well, I don't know how to choose that one, but okay.
And it was from the Mets' perspective, but it was a great fit for the night of baseball plays.
Oh, that's great.
Did. Yeah.
Do you find your audience comes from all over, or do you have regular kind of patrons?
Yeah, we have a subscriber base.
Oh, you do?
And they are Weymouth, Braintree, Abington, even a little further out, Quincy. And then a lot of the audience is coming because friends or family are in the show. Yeah. And most actors are from the immediate community.
Absolutely.
Certainly there are people 30, 40 miles away that are coming down because it's a show that they just...
Because they love it, right?
Exactly, yeah. So their families
come with them.
Yeah. That scientist that I just mentioned that played Juliet, she's from Kentucky.
Wow.
And she's going to school here right now.
Oh, okay.
And her family flew up from Kentucky
Is that right?
to come see the show.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that the performing arts in general took a major hit during the pandemic.
Yes, it did.
How did Curtain Call fare through that time?
So we were very fortunate to get a couple of big donations just beforehand. And so that was able to pay us. So we had a production that finished the first week of March 2020. So that one was safe.
Good.
But our May production we had to cancel.
Obviously, yeah.
Then the entire following season we had to cancel.
Yeah.
So it was almost 18 months that we went without any income. And we had 2 generous donors that came through, and so that paid us the rent.
Yeah.
That baseball production that I mentioned, that's the one we started up with to kick us off. And you just didn't know how comfortable people were going to be to come in, and there's still an element of that across professional theater everywhere.
Is that right?
The Romeo and Juliet, we were sold out 2 of the performances. The other, I should mention, we're only a 70-seat theater.
Okay.
So it's a small, intimate space.
Okay.
Everybody's close to the stage. So it's not a lot to sell out 70 seats, but in this environment, it doesn't always happen.
Sure.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
we did pretty good with Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah. So if folks would like to support Curtain Call, best way to do that?
Website.
Okay.
Yep.
Social media?
Anything directs you back to the website,
Okay.
which is where our the donate buttons,
Yep.
which will link to make those donations are. So yeah,
All right. Very
yeah.
good.
But we do have a Facebook presence, and but yeah, the website's #1.
Okay.
So,
Anything else you'd like to share?
yeah, I just hope people want to come out and see these shows. They're well performed, directed. I'm the tech director.
Yes.
I like to think I do a pretty good job on the
sure.
sets and
Yeah.
the lights and all those kind of things. And we kind of feel that you can get Braintree prices for a show, but you get the Boston quality.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Great to meet you, Jim. And
It's great to meet you as well, and thank you again for having
You're
me.
welcome. I hope we've shed some light and get you some attention for Curtain
That would be
Call.
wonderful. Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Check the forecast for you for the rest of the day today. Looks really nice, actually. Sun and clouds with mild temperatures in the low 70s this afternoon. Really, it's dry for the whole week. October will be a little cloudy starting tomorrow with highs in the mid-60s, but nice sunny weather on Wednesday. Thursday looks great right now, so get out, enjoy it. Thanks again to Jim Gross for joining us from the Curtain Call Theater Company.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thanks to our crew. Thank you for watching Friday here on the show. Tina Cahill is stopping by. She's got details about a walk for those in recovery happening here in Quincy. Meantime, you can check our website. It's qatv.org. All of our latest programs are there. There's news, information, video on demand, live streaming, much more. For all of us here at QATV, I'm Joe Catalano. Have a great week.